And I do want to talk about Kathryn Kuhlman because that was the first issue. Of course, I was in one of the early ones too, but Miss Kuhlman has really touched our lives, all of our lives. No one carried the presence of God like she did. The glory of God would walk in literally with her into those amazing meetings. I was about 19 years old when I went to the first Kathryn Kuhlman service in Pittsburgh. My life was transformed when she walked on the platform. The presence of Jesus. It's really hard to explain that part, but so real, so tangible. My life was not the same after that moment because I was truly in the presence of God. I think had Moses walked in or Elijah walked in, they would have said this is the same presence they knew when they ministered on the planet. And of course, time after time, we would go to her amazing meetings, and it was really life-changing. But I'll never forget one time I want to tell you all about. We took a lady with us from Toronto, crippled with arthritis totally, and I mean crippled. Every part of her body was twisted. She was bent over, hunched over, and dear Jim Pointer, who took buses in those days from Canada, had asked me and a gentleman named Al Parichin to help this dear lady up and down the bus. Well, she was on a little wheelchair. Her husband was carrying her purse. I'll never forget that. And Al and I were responsible to help her up and down and take the wheelchair and put it under the bus. And then every time the bus would stop somewhere for food or whatever, we would go down and take the little wheelchair out and open it and bring her down. So here we are with this lady for 2 full days because we had to stop and so on. Now the next morning comes. We go to the Kathryn Kuhlman service in Pittsburgh. It was Good Friday, the Syria Mosque. I'll never forget that. We go in, we put her down on the 3rd row. We run around, go up on the balcony because seats were filling up fast and were no seats open for us. So we went up on the balcony where we can see this lady sitting down below. And right before service, she said, now, boys, don't let them see my wheelchair because Kathryn never allowed any wheelchairs on the main floor. When Miss Kuhlman came on the platform, within minutes, we're looking down, and that lady, who had been twisted with arthritis for years, began to untwist in front of our eyes. Now imagine if this was you. Miss Kuhlman just comes on, they just sang, He Touched Me. You sit down, the presence of God so thick, it's unbelievable, and you look down, and a lady you've been with for 2 days starts to, every part of her body began to untwist. I began screaming on the balcony. I think you do the same. That moment has changed my life forever. So Kathryn's ministry, truly the headline is, none had the anointing for miracles like Miss Kuhlman since the days of the apostles. And now this woman comes on the platform straight. I mean, here she had been bent over for only God knows how long. She's standing perfect. And just one little finger was you couldn't even see it from the balcony, was twisted. And Kathryn, in her dramatic way, was reaching over to pray for her. And the lady said, Miss Kuhlman, just a second. She said, he forgot the finger. That lady wanted her whole body to be whole totally. And Kathryn, in her amazing way, she said, honey, I will not ask him to do that. He left it that you might remember. And that was Miss Kuhlman. Very, very real, very down to earth, and very anointed. And how precious of Jesus to heal the thousands he healed in her ministry, and how grateful we all are